I'm Paul Wilkinson and I'm making a TV documentary series on shamanism in Nepal. And today I'd like to attempt to describe how the shamans send the energy of the Phurba or the energy of their attention, either in a distant healing or to find information. So this is rather an in-depth subject. I'm not quite sure if it's possible to really communicate it properly. But I'll say a little bit about my own practice and my own process and some of the paradoxical ideas in conveying this, in achieving these altered states that allow you to journey using something like the Phurba. So a Phurba is somewhere between a magical wand and a sacred symbolic knife. So the shaman both directs their attention with this for healing, they tune into it or project their heart or their soul into the Phurba like a sort of external being to keep them safe. And they can also send it to retrieve information. So when I say sending energy, energy exists and consciousness exists in very different forms. So you have your physical energy and you have an electromagnetic field, like the field around your heart center is about 50 foot. Different people vary, some smaller, some larger. And then you have a sort of psychic field where it begins to get a little bit stranger. There's a part of us which really isn't in time or in space. So probably most of us have experienced this in different forms. So if there's someone you really care about and you can sort of feel how they are all the time. I remember when my sister was travelling in Nepal and India many years ago, maybe 30 years ago, and they had some earthquakes. And I checked, I visualised her, and I had looked to see if she was okay, and she was okay. And then I was, I was sure she'd be fine. During the earthquakes, my ex would phone me when I was running between buildings or crossing over landslides. And it was funny when I was, it almost became a running joke between us, because when I was in real danger, she always knew. And that's because on a very deep level, your energy body is connected and your spirit is connected. So there's a dimension of awareness which is outside of space and time. And they've now found this with animals and like people's pets know when they're coming home, and even when they're coming home at unexpected times, they're there by the door and then the person arrives. So my mum and dad would always say that their dogs would get very excited before I was flying back, and it's a sort of subtle energy of a connection. So the paradoxical thing is how to have a focused awareness, how to focus on something and want something, and then empty out your attachment to the thing. So it's both objectifying something, it's making an object of that goal that you're target towards, and in that sense it's recognizable, it's recognition, it's related to memory. So when you're seeing a bird in the garden, part of you is really seeing, and part of you is seeing the image of the bird that allows you to recognize this is a blackbird, or this is a crow, or this is a robin, or this. So a part of you has got this recognition of the thing that you're seeing. And another part of you is empty. Another part of you is like a child that doesn't even know what a bird is. The part of us which is sending awareness, which is sending energy, or sending healing, or sending consciousness to retrieve something, is both focused on a goal and releasing the goal. So in a lot of Phurba you have the symbolism of the bow and arrow, and the Phurba itself is both, it's pointed, it's got all the symbolism all over it, but inside the Phurba is the void, so emptiness. So you've got this very paradoxical thing, and actually inside the symbol of the Vajra as well, you have the seed beginning and then duality, and then the 4 directions, or 8 directions if it's Nyingma. And then you have a central spoke, and the central spoke is the void running through it. So you have the touching and the releasing. So you touch the goal and you release it. You aim the arrow and you release it. And it's in the releasing that the quality of being is already discovered in you. So when you're using a mandala or a yantra, you're already at the center of the mandala. So you have the periphery of the mandala. So the mandala is essentially a symbol for the self. It's a circle which is divided up in different ways, often with four gates and the central sections and different concentric circles, or in the case of a yantra with different expanding triangles coming up. And conceptually, this is like the self. It's like the identity is both at the center of being and it's in the periphery. So you have your soul and your body and your heart and your internal organs and your periphery of energy and your environment and your family. You have the different parts of you extending out into the world. But you're always fluid at the center of a turning world. You're always like a pivot. So one of the mistakes that people make when they think about the Buddhist concept of ebbing away of attachments and the stillness is the stillness is a stillness at the heart of movement, like a pivot. So the appearance is still, and the internal stillness is equanimity. It's not a cessation of movement, it's a cessation of attachment. So when you're sending your energy, you're both touching and releasing in the same moment. So in terms of martial arts, there are processes like empty force, and in empty force you're both sending energy, but you're releasing any attachment to the result. You're releasing any grasping. So the same is also true in something like manifesting something. That if you want something like wealth, you have to be it first. So you achieve it by being it. You can have it if you're already it. If you're trying to get something, you actually push it away from you because of the trying, because of the grasping. So this is the paradox between the aiming at something and the being it. You're already it, so you're already the centre of the target that is being moved towards. So when you dig this into the ground, you're at the centre of the mandala. You're rooted in the centre, and at the same time as being the centre, the periphery is immediately present. So there's this constant action which you can become aware of in terms of the breath, for instance, of dissolution and reforming. You're opening and closing the gate. So in shamanic terms, my friend and teacher Mohan once said, we're gatekeepers. We stand at the threshold between the different worlds, and we open and close the gates. We govern that access between the different worlds and navigate through these different dimensions. So I know this is quite a difficult thing to understand and to try and explain, and on some levels it's impossible. You have to have your direct experience. So the seed beginning of this, one way in which you can build this practice yourself, is by focusing on the heart and also paying attention to the breath. So allowing yourself to feel the physical heartbeat and allowing yourself to expand and contract the energy fields. Allowing yourself to feel that connection with other people as you expand the energy, or the connection with nature. So you might be sitting outside and feel the nearby trees. And then really allow yourself to be in the unknowing, not just in the recognition. So you're not just seeing that it's an oak tree. You're actually feeling the quality of it as if you don't know what it is, and allowing yourself to melt into that. And that quality of presentness is what transports the energy. It's that presentness which allows you to be both here and in some other place at the same time. So I hope that helps. This is absolutely central to the use of tools like the Phurba, or tools like the Vajra, or even the Vajra and Bell, which have other uses as well. But the key element to this is that it's that paradoxical state that allows you to do things like distant healing. It's that openness to the void and to the emptiness that allows the shaman to be true enough with themselves for the energy to flow through them unhindered, and also for them to become both a vessel and a vehicle through which energy flows, through which the archetypes of the gods or of nature beings or the energies of their surroundings can flow smoothly without inhibition. So I hope that's useful and helpful, and do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you at the next one.